Welcome to Sideshow Live! Clap! Clap! Clap at home, everybody clap. Oh, we've got an awesome show lined up for you today. First, we're going to talk to Kat Sapene, the senior painter here at Sideshow, and take a look at some Court of the Dead pieces that she has worked on. That's really exciting. And then Dave Igo and Ian MacDonald were here last week to chat about the incredible new X-Men art print that was just released and is already almost sold out, so make sure you get yours soon. And we'll be looking at some silver and gold collectibles from the New Zealand Mint, and then it's party time. Today is the birthday of the boy who... I expected applause. I didn't get it. It's fine. No, it's too late for that. You all blew it. For you back home, I know you applauded, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Today is the birthday of the boy who lived. That's right. We will be celebrating with so many Harry Potter figures and some very special surprises. We have so much great stuff to show you today, so let's get started. Then I do a thing. Okay. We're starting with our featured collector. Hey, man. It's my first one, and we're knocking it out of the park. We got our featured collector. It's Mike Dessereau. I hope I didn't butcher your name. It is a really Look at that. Look at that collection, by the way. Look at that Terminator collection right there. We see some pretty fantastic prints. Those pinball machines, by the way. I'm a pinball freak, and I am living it. I am loving it. I want to be there. I want to play those games. Those tables are fantastic. We see that. Is that a 1-to-1 endoskeleton? Is that a 1-to-1 T800 endoskeleton? Are you kidding me right now? Obviously, Mike is a big Terminator fan. And is that a Bumblebee behind him? I can't see who that is. Or a Terminator? I hope with the red eyes. I don't know if that would be a Bumblebee. Can you imagine? Could you imagine if that was like the big, it's like, oh, the new Bumblebee movie. He's a bad guy now. He's got a machine gun. That would be scary. This is a rad collection. I'm really, really into that. I like Terminator. I don't dive too heavily into that world. And so it's good to see when people do and they really expand on that collection and they really sort of build around it. I'm stoked on that. We see there's a damaged T800 bust. You see that? That's cool. Oh, God. I want those pinball machines, though. The pinball machines. Can we all talk right now? I don't know if you guys can hear it on mic, but everybody here is just bustling in the back about those pinball machines. I'm in. I'm going to go. There's a bustle right there. Thank you. Let's give it up for the bustle. I appreciate that. If you would like a chance to be our featured collector, then please visit side.show/blog, and you can possibly be that. Wouldn't that be exciting? You could be the featured collector. You just do my collection. It's like, here's Jeff. He's got 4 things. Isn't that nice? He's got 4 things. And I have pretty decent. All droids. I'm a droid fiend, according to you guys. We have got a quick video break, but we'll be right back with some great Court of the Dead pieces and Kat Sapene. I'm excited about that, so see you soon.
Do I look like a servant? And yet, here I am again, giving that which I hold most precious to those who value it no more than fire values the ashes it leaves behind. I am tasked by fate, delivering souls to heaven and hell in precisely equal portions. For eons I have served, never an offering missed, nor favoritism showed to either side. Yet, they are endlessly suspicious. They do not count my offerings so much as they weigh their own pride against the other's greed. I could set a watch to this silent dance of contempt if I cared about such a thing as time. Nevertheless, they dare not disturb this ancient ritual. Divided by their hate and blinded by their arrogance, they will come to learn both as their weakness. Hidden within the underworld, my secret code camaraderie of souls gives me hope. Each one unique and precious. They are my purpose and my strength. But strength in careless hands is a liability. My children yearn for freedom, to rise up and bring an end to this perverse game of ruination. But they must yet sleep. So my master's hatred stays focused on each other. Soon I shall awaken my children, and in their revelation, see my master's arrogance erased. I will show them how poorly their pride weighs against the spirit of creation, and for the first time, they will know terror. On that day, I will no longer be a servant, and the universe will finally gaze upon the true face of death.
Welcome back. Why not? Why don't I do that? I don't know. I'm joined by Kat Sapene, paint manager for Sideshow. Kat, thank you so much for joining us. Yay! Yay! Just 40 more minutes of clapping, and we're going to keep going.
That'd be awesome.
We have some really rad Court of the Dead pieces here with us that you worked on. You did this.
I did.
This is your...
I'm sorry.
You did. I don't know if you saw these. They're pretty good.
No, I do
These
like
are
these.
pretty
They're
good.
awesome, yeah.
I want to talk about some of the elements of these pieces, but first I need to know more about you.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know about that, did you? We're going to get all the
Surprise,
information
I
about
know.
you. So I want you to tell us about you. Now you've been painting here for a while, but how long have you been painting? And like when did you? How did you start? Sort of like. How long have you been here at Sideshow?
So I've been at Sideshow. This is my 5th year at Sideshow, so yay. But before that, I mean, I've been... It's sort of a mess how I got into painting this stuff, but I've been painting for 20 years now.
Oh.
This is 20 years doing this stuff. Yeah.
That is an impressive move. It's a young start, too.
Yeah, no, it is. I basically right out of... while I was in college, I had interned at this animation studio in New York. And then, I know it's totally sideways. And then out of college, they hired me on to do some stuff. And one of the guys there had on the side in Hoboken a little toy prototyping studio. So they would prototype for like McFarlane, Toy Biz back in the day. Yeah, totally. So, and they needed some painters. And I knew nobody in New York. And I'm kind of antisocial anyway. So
Like, I want to play with the toys.
yeah, exactly. So I would, work my 9 to 5 during the week. And then on the weekends, I would go and paint toys for them. So yeah, basically like straight out of college.
So that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, during the timeline of production, at what point do you see the figure?
It depends. Like the court stuff, it's usually a little bit later on. Once they have the sculpt itself finalized, we'll start talking color. Tom, obviously these are his creation, and so he already has an idea of what he wants. But we'll have some conversations back and forth, so I have a better understanding of it. So. And in some figures, he'll sort of sketch something out as far as like
the gist.
kind of have.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, there's a lot of different materials provided on here. You'll notice there's things like armor, there's things like leather. Like, how do you, as a painter, sort of work to build those textures? Because it's a very unique process, isn't it?
Yeah. It obviously it depends on the texture, and with the court stuff, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff that isn't real. Like Tom doesn't necessarily want all the metals to be silver, gold, brass, bronze, anything like that. It's underworld stuff, and it's different, and so you mix and match, and so you'll see silver highlights on gold, and just all sorts of just not your standard metal.
So you're not bound, I guess, by like the reality that you
exactly. I mean, you kind of stick to that to a certain extent. Like on shards, little shin guards. I'm horrible at naming this stuff.
Yeah. And her leg thing.
her little things on her legs. That's kind of just a little bit more standard. So when I painted it, it probably would have started with like a silver, and then maybe just like a little bit of a black wash, some raw umber, just to sort of warm it up a little bit and weather it. And then, but then things like Probably not too many. I think on the back there's some examples where there's like little gold highlights on certain things, and you just like even the leather. Her leather is just this like mix of weird colors. There's greens and purples, and that it's a lot of the same techniques. It's all about the colors you use and how you layer them to get the different feel.
Do your techniques change? Like, I know, like, not all statues are made with the same thing either.
Right.
Like, everything is some are resin or
some are solid or some are a little more translucent.
Is the process the same when you're delivering paint, when you're painting something like that? Like, is it a...
It is different. Like, on Death's base, the kind of the part that he's standing on there, that's a clear resin, and so mentally it's a little bit different. Like when you're painting anything else, you make a mistake, you can kind of go back over it, but on that, because it's clear and you want the light to bounce, you don't want to be piling on a ton of different colors of paint, and so you're a little limited, so you have to be a little bit more direct when you're painting with clears.
That is really interesting too, the way with the clear resin that has been really sort of showing up in a lot of pieces. What you get out of that, like the effect that you get when light hits that resin. Yeah,
it bounces, it photographs great. I mean, you really you also have to make sure you're painting it with transparent paints too, because otherwise you're just putting opaque paint on top of something.
I mean, we'll see, because we'll go through we'll be going through and showing people some pieces, and I'll literally take like the flashlight on my phone and I'll stick it under and be like, look at this. And it blows them away.
It's awesome. I think it really helps, because we'll do it for effects, and it really helps sell that effect, that it's not just this other, hard material. It's supposed to be smoke or etheria, and you can't sculpt soft edges to this stuff, so you kind of have to paint-wise sort of reflect that.
Yeah, I do
qualities.
Like that you have to, one of your jobs is that you have to show magic.
Yeah.
Like you have to interpret and show and explain how magic would work, which magic isn't. It's not a real thing. Like, what do you base that on though? Like, how do you?
So I'll look at like a lot of different comic book interpretations. Obviously, comic book artists have a long history of trying to figure this stuff out, and so I'll just look at their interpretations and see if there's any techniques, any little things that they do that I'm like, oh, I think I could translate that three-dimensionally into this effect and make it work. I think that'll help sell it, because sometimes if you're not careful with, in particular, like with clear resins, it can look like candy real quick. Just like somebody just took
magic
a lollipop
candy,
and stretched
though.
it out. I know, magic candy. So you gotta, you kind of have to balance what you're doing, and sometimes you add a little opacity to it to just give it a different effect.
Now, when you're doing a piece in general, I'm going to use these two as an example. Yeah. Are there like parts of the piece that like a detail that you're just like, you got to check this out, like see, like look at this? Is there a piece like on one of these that you would say you got to check out this little detail?
I think my favorite part on Shard painting her was the leather itself. In part, on all the court pieces, the challenge is always how to make the leather look like leather, but without using leather colors, And so for me on her, that's the thing that I love the most. It's because it's got a real green color to it, but then Tom really loves pushing the color in the shadow. So there's a lot of purple in the shading, and so making that green and purple work and feel like it's still leather was a really fun challenge for me. So that's probably what I would be like, but look at the leather.
Now, how often do you? Because I'm like fascinated by this. I come into your workspace a lot. If we're doing a tour or something, and I'm fascinated. Is this like? Are there interesting stories about painting these things? Are there things where you come home and be like, you got to hear this, or is this to you something more you're just like, I painted the thing?
I got to try to think of it outside of myself, because to me, I've been doing this a while, and so it's all. But I think one thing that some people don't realize, particularly with the court figures, is that it's a real collaborative process. Mm-hmm. So like Death himself, that was one of the very first court pieces. And so that's one where Tom went through and painted the skin, painted some bits of armor, and then from there we just had sort of, because he needed to work it out himself. He's a painter, painted for Sideshow for years too. And so he needed to sort of work it out for himself to figure out what he wanted to do with it. And then he was able to be like, okay, this is what I want, and I did this, but I want you to push it a little bit further. So, Tom took it to a point, and then I painted it. And then, later on when we went back to do the duplicate, one of our other painters, Casey Love, I had to explain to him, like, okay, this is, like, here's the techniques that I used. And I think at that time I made color swatches, and so it's a real group effort to get these done.
It's interesting because when you are making these, you do two exact copies, and they are exact. And so the process for that, like, how long does it take to create one piece from the initial paint stripe to finish the finished piece?
We try to keep it between 4 and 5 weeks. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer because you are, particularly with the court pieces, it's not an established character. Yeah. You're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So you might take something really far and then look at it and go, yeah, that's not quite right. Or Tom might look at it and go, okay, well, I want you to push this a little bit more. And you know what? I was actually thinking this. Or what happens a lot of times is like, that's not a color we can use because that's a color that's specifically for this kind of character or this faction or something like that. And so you're just like, okay, and you got to go back a little bit.
So from there, then, how many versions were painted before they finally landed on what they wanted?
It depends on the figure. If I remember correctly, Shard was pretty straightforward, and eventually just kind of you learn to paint a little piece and be like, hey Tom, what do you think? I think Death has had a few different versions. Sometimes the armor gets changed, and like now he's got the different masks that you can buy. There's like a set of masks that are really awesome, and so there's not there's no real set number. Usually we try to do it in one and just make some alterations.
Now, each faction in Court of the Dead seems to have like a color palette.
Yeah.
And yet you have two characters here that are not factions. That's correct. So like how does that palette then, how do you make the decision for that if you're trying to make it so that they're not registering as one specific faction?
One or the other, yeah.
Do you have to eliminate what colors you're allowed to use
It's actually more the opposite. It's kind of combining them all. So you'll see, like in Shard, she has her bone armor elements, like in her sword there and in all this stuff. And then she's got sort of the flesh faction in the lining of the cape. And then, of course, you have the spirit faction with the sort of the etheria and the blue underneath, and it's sort of the same with Death. He's got his bone elements and his flesh elements with the like red lining, and I think the there's a little bit more in his armor. There's a little bit more red. So like on the chest piece, you'll see some kind of more organic pieces in between the bone that's more flesh. And then, of course, you have the spirit on the base.
In the Dearth Forge.
Yeah, that's what it's called,
here. And I've got Chi-Chi for it, too. And the Etheria-infused stone that she's on here, and that's really rad. Now, I got some audience questions that we're going to come through. So this is stuff that's coming in real time. Okay. So first off, Alex wants to know, since moving to Los Angeles from New York, have you eaten pizza? I'm guessing you have.
I have.
Since you have moved to California, and he writes, if so, why is it so bad?
In California?
Yeah.
What I've come to realize is you just have to think of it as it's entirely different. Don't try to compare it to New York. It's not going to be the same. California has its own style of pizza, and you can either appreciate that or not.
Yeah.
And it's like I've found a place actually in Burbank that has some pretty decent New York style pizza. Actually, there was a place in North Hollywood as well. But for the most part, you just got to appreciate California pizza for being its own thing.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Where California pizza works is when people come to California and then make pizza. So like there are places, there's a place called North End that has Boston style. And there are New York, like where they're just like, we're from New York and we do it here.
Yeah, Central Park pizza.
But it's all pizza. Like
it's bread, it's sauce, it's cheese. It's great.
The pizza snobbery never makes sense to me. Where I'm like, it's bad. I'm like, no, it's great. It's just different. It's not the same.
Exactly.
No, we don't
discriminate.
We don't taste shame here on California pizza. We here in California love the pizza that we rarely order.
Rarely.
I try to avoid
every
it.
other week.
Trying to get rid of carbs right now, so it's kind of a thing. Joe does want to know. Joe does. You know Joe. Joe wants to know. What do you? Are you a faction for court?
I I did the test one time and I can't remember what it was. I think it was spirit though. I think it was
Okay, you're spirit.
function.
I get it.
Yeah.
Meow
Oh.
Meow wants to know if, is there a character that you haven't worked on that you're just like, I need dibs on this character?
A court character?
No, just any
character? Ah. It's totally stupid and digging deep, but it would be fun to do like a Jubilee to go with our
That's
X-Men.
not stupid at all. That would be
We've
great.
got some fun ones now.
That would be with the yellow,
yeah.
with the yellow
totally
coat.
classic
That would be really
90s.
fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, pop
We
in
need
some
one of
bubblegum.
those. Yeah. Super producer Sam in the back yelling,
Going nuts.
please.
Yeah.
I think a Jubilee would be great. And I
A
mean,
little bubblegum.
it's not for nothing, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you
It'd be fun.
worked on the Gambit piece, right? That was just revealed.
Yeah, I know.
at
We
San
did that
Diego
one, which I was
Comic-Con.
super excited about. I'm like, now we need Jubilee.
So,
we
I
did
mean,
Gambit.
You know, it would be nice if Sideshow wants to do it. Or I wouldn't be against it. And then we know somebody who would really
paint it.
give it her all in the painting process. Is there a character? This is a question from Joe.
Okay.
Is there a character that you would be a little bit like tentative to want to piece because of the complexity?
No,
want to paint?
I love complexity. I love that challenge. It's what's allowed me to keep doing this for so long. I mean, it's fun to have the simpler things to paint just because mentally it just sort of gives you a break. But it's part of why I love painting the court stuff, because it is a challenge. It is a challenge to get the colors to work together and to figure out and really nail what it is that Tom wants in the piece and what he wants expressed from the piece. So I like a challenge. I mean, for me, I'd say the types of characters that maybe I'm less adept at would be more creatures. It's not something I have a ton of experience with, but luckily we do have people in-house that can do that. So
They're great at that, too,
that are
yeah.
awesome at that and love it. So
All right, I guess I'll take one more from JJ. JJ asks, who would you choose to portray Shard if Court ever hit the big screen? If Court of the Dead ever made it to the film?
I always thought her face kind of looked like Rosario Dawson. She could be pretty awesome.
Oh, I could see
She's
that.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's an excellent choice, and a choice kind of out of left field. I wouldn't expect that. That's pretty rad. Guess what? I'm gonna let you go now.
What?
Yeah, I know. You can take a closer look at these figures and Kat's work at side.show/Trespasser and side.show/Alltaker. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Wendy Lee. I love Wendy Lee. Wendy Lee interviewing art director Dave Igo and artist Ian MacDonald. So stick around.
Sweet.
Hey everybody, Wendy Lee here, and I've got some very special guests in our studio today. Please help me welcome Dave Igo and Ian MacDonald. Woo! So for those of you who don't know, Ian is an artist and you've done work with Unruly, you've done some work for the art print program, and you've even designed some of the statues.
Yeah.
And we also have Dave here, who is our art director of licensed product. Hi guys.
Hey, how's
it going? How's it hanging? Did you guys get to go to Comic-Con?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every year.
Every year.
Every year.
It's our play
You say
date.
that like it's a chore.
No.
It's a privilege. It's fun.
We're still recovering.
I am also still recovering. This is It's been such a circus, but you brought something very special today. You brought this amazing X-Men print, and this is the X-Men A Legend Reborn Deluxe Fine Art print. What can you tell us about it? There's so much going on.
Yeah, so it's basically a tribute to an old famous Jim Lee series of covers, and it's kind of like our take on a modern take on the characters, basically, on the cover.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they see that, like these kind of approaches where we do a tribute or an after, it's never meant to like replace what was done. What was done is like the iconic image, and this is more of just like us being fanboys and doing like, in a weird way, officially commissioned fan art of like an amazing piece of original layout art, which was I think it was 4 different covers all interconnected for X-Men Volume 2 #1, and that was like the big 90s thing. For anyone that was like a 90s comic fan, this is like, I would argue, like the iconic image of the 90s Marvel era.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely recognize some of the poses. It's very iconic. You see it. And so talk a little bit about when you got the idea to kind of create this piece. Do you have to go and kind of get permission from Jim Lee and say, hey, we would like to kind of pay tribute to this, or how does that work?
Technically, we talk to Marvel to make sure they're cool first, because they own the rights to everything. If we have access to the artist, we always want to make sure it's cool too. We actually have one of the artists we work with, Alex Garner, is good friends with Jim, worked with him in the past, and he's even maybe working on a piece that's similar, different art. Sorry, that's me already talking about announcement stuff. Anyway, whatever. But it's cool. Jim's been very cool about this kind of stuff, and we're confident he knows this is just meant as like a fanboy tribute to him. So even though we only have to ask Marvel for permission, we always like to know if it was based on other artists' art that they're cool with it. You know, and some people might not be, and you know that's where we just kind of weigh whether or not we want to move forward with it, because we want to. You know, our collectors, want to make them happy. That's the biggest goal with this. And then also want to make everyone else adjacent to it happy as well. So well, it's a really fantastic piece. And talk a little bit about what are the challenges of assembling all of that together. Like, you have all these characters. You know, when you were looking at it from the beginning, from like your sketchbook, you're thinking, how do I even start? Can you talk a little bit about the start of the process?
It's a
the
little
start of the
daunting.
process, I just hit a button, I say, Ian, make art, and he makes it, and it's done. Yeah, it's that
like
easy.
that.
That's
30
how art
seconds
direction
later,
works.
it's done.
Quick. Yeah, it doesn't take months at all.
Months. Wow.
Well, it was my day job is with Sideshow, working on
like the licensed
statues and stuff. So it was kind of like a downtime thing. Every now and then I would get onto this. So yeah, it was basically November to May I was working on it.
Wow.
But yeah, in the beginning, there was a lot, like, it took a long time to figure out the rough, like, composition and poses of characters. And we didn't want to go, like, exactly copy what Jim Lee did, but more pay homage to what he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it took a bit to figure out how to make it more unique, I guess. And
layout was arguably, and I would say that's usually the longest part about any ambitious piece like this, like the old Avengers Assemble piece we did with Alex Garner was the same way. It was like, took forever. Ian helped on the layout art on that one too. But this one, the same thing, even though a lot of people think it's easy because the art's already done and we're just tracing. It's like, if you put those one to one, they're not the same at all. It's kind of like when you look at it, it feels the same.
Yeah.
It's like what you kind of remember, obviously like reinterpreted, but it's definitely, Ian was, you know, tweaking, not correcting, but like making it work for this piece in particular. And it's just kind of like, we wanted to push things a little bit more too and push the depth a little bit more because originally these pieces were done as like individual covers, but we wanted to make sure this worked as like mainly the one big image. So, and then obviously we put our spin on the costume. This is kind of like the Magneto is based on our maquette. The Rogue is based on our new Rogue maquette. Gambit, the new Gambit maquette. Colossus, the new Colossus. I forgot if we're calling them premium format maquette. But those guys and Jean Grey. Yeah. And hopefully, you know, use this as a springboard to maybe pitch future X-Men PFs and maquettes as well for future lines. And because I really like to give our collectors like a piece of art that can go with the statues they buy from us.
Which would be so great if you display it correctly. You could if all the figures existed, you could literally place them in the same order just underneath the print.
The poses are all different from the statues, but at least like, you know, it's about the idea.
Right. Exactly. You know, so. What I also like is, and I know you were talking about there's 4 comic books cover that inspired this piece, but what I really like about this, it's that one scene flows into another, and it just kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying. You can't just trace a copy of something and hope that it works because it already exists. Was there any challenges when it comes to creating this piece? Biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge?
None whatsoever.
Make sure you didn't mess
No,
it
it
up.
was tough.
It was a big deal piece.
Actually, yeah, that was definitely a part of the challenge because Jim Lee is such an iconic like legend in comic books, so you really don't want to mess this up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, like, this is your most ambitious. No, you did those Star Wars pieces. Those are pretty ambitious too.
Yeah.
But anytime you get multiple characters, and you want the render quality to be, to match and hopefully make people feel like the price is justified. Just sometimes Ian's like, all right, I think I'm mostly done, but I'm gonna, take a fresh look at this first thing after the weekend. He looks, he's like, I need another 2 days on this kind of thing. And I think we had like Final 01, Final 02, Final 03, Final 04, or Final
500.
Yeah, there's a bit of those. And every time it's funny because I like saving every image, and you can snap between like before and afters and see like. I'm like, all right, Ian, all this is good. Only work on this part. And then when I do the before and after, he like kept working. He like tweaked Cyclops a little more and Iceman a little more. It's like, dang it, Ian.
Here's version 1.12249.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, it's always hard to know when to just call it done.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think one of the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you could just keep working on it forever.
Yeah.
That's like all the art.
But that's
prints
art,
have done.
right? Like you can always look at it and say, oh, like, I could add on this or do that. But I really do love seeing this as a whole, because to me, X-Men is not about one single X-Men. I know we all have our favorites. We can talk about that later, but it's the X-Men. So, I love seeing the ensemble displayed, because that's what I always loved about the comics and the cartoons and, the movies and things like that. For this project, because it was 4 comic book covers, how did you pace it? Because you said that you worked from May to November. Did you do like one character, per period, or?
There's no. I kind of bounced back and forth. To everybody basically. Like.
Yeah, because the layout had to be the whole thing had to work together. Then from there, I think you did like a color rough after that to make sure it worked. I think at one point we saw like the X-Men text in the big mountain behind.
Yeah, we did.
In the art originally too. And we're like, that worked for like that, where we feel like that just pulls it out of this, because this is like us trying to be like hyper realistic rendering. So we're like, hey, that feels like it pulls you out a little bit. So some back and forth on that. But I remember just when Ian did updates, I think every once in a while you would focus on just Magneto because he's the most.
He's the closest. So
yeah. My eye automatically goes immediately to Magneto.
Because he's the best X-Men. Yeah. Obviously. No disagree.
And then Gambit, because he's my fave.
Was he your crush?
Yeah. Nice. Ever since the cartoon, I was like, Gambit. Still waiting for that movie. Talk about what was the very first character or thing that you drew when you sat down and worked on this. The very first thing when your pen or pencil touched paper.
Ooh, that's a good question. What did you do?
Yeah, good question.
Can you remember back all the way back in May?
I think
you work with 2 hands at the same time. So
I just drew them all at the same time. I think Magneto. I think he was the first.
Focal point. Yeah. And just kind of everything from there.
I wasn't there looking over your shoulder, like ghosting you. Like, this is how you draw.
Just Dave, like, work! Work! Today, Wolverine!
Through Skype. I'm like, Ian, do you have time for a share screen? He's like, sure, he does share screen. I'm like, get back to work! Why are you share screening with me? Stop looking and draw. He's the worst to work with. I don't even like him.
Hey, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
This is him all the time. That's a serious, like, Dave, I have to tell you something. I don't like working with you.
Yeah.
Awkward. Perfect working partner. You can just like I'll show you when it's done. You tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So obviously this is Jim Lee's style. Is there any sort of like specific Jim Lee inspired styles that you put into this piece as well as your own?
I'd say like I went through a few renditions of Magneto trying to get him like, at first he was a little more, I guess, like he wasn't as buff, like as muscular.
Right.
And then like referring back to the Jim Lee take on him, like he's just so stylized and like his chest is puffed out a lot, and that like we definitely went through a couple revisions there, but looking at Jim Lee's stuff informed some of the anatomy choices in the piece.
Yeah.
And the poses too, like that storm pose was like, we really want to, like, I think
Yeah.
Colossus was one of the bigger pose changes because we want to just kind of like really pull the camera down to be looking up to make him feel a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Wolverine was one where we really want him like leaping off the page. Cyclops, I always loved that original Cyclops, but I think just took all those and just like try to push him a little bit more, make him a little more dynamic. And again, it's always weird saying that because it's never like an intention of like, we're going to make it better. It's always like, we want to keep his and make this like our
Right.
fan art to that. So.
Yeah, it's definitely like what you said. It's definitely an homage to him and his work, but you definitely have your own, your own personal flavor in there. When you were creating this, when you were thinking about the poses, do you kind of just look at the comic covers and just kind of try your best to, I don't want to say replicate, but to be inspired by that, or did you have a specific pose in mind when you're like, we were talking about Storm and Colossus, so talk a little bit about the posing of the characters.
Yeah, I guess we actually had a version in the beginning where Gambit and Psylocke and Colossus were all very similar to the original Jim Lee one, and I think it was you that said like we should break out of that and like try something different. And in the original, Gambit doesn't have, like, he's not throwing the cards, that kind of thing. I thought maybe that could be cool to add a little bit more depth to the piece. And
thank you for adding that. I love that.
And that's what we're doing with like the maquette, like the Gambit statue we're making too. So we want to find like a good blend between the two, and hopefully, again, something when you look at this, it feels like obviously it's recognizable, like what the source material is. But if you put them side by side, they're still very much their own pieces.
Yeah.
So because we could have like stayed very true to like Jim's original cover, but we feel like that wouldn't be doing a service. It's kind of like when you hear a cover song, it's kind of like almost the same, and you're like, just make it your own. And I think that's a cooler tribute than trying to like just make it feel like it's direct competition in a weird way, because you're trying to replicate it so close. And
If Jim Lee was here on the set right now and he's looking at this artwork with you, what would you want him to say?
I love it.
Yeah.
Start weeping. I love this.
I would probably
I hope
hug
so.
him on accident. I'd probably get yelled at for just running up wanting to hug him. Yeah. He's such a huge inspiration.
I feel like
for
he'd be
me.
used to it. I feel like that's the general fan reaction of like, oh my gosh, or like not knowing what to do and just be completely frozen.
Just,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Fangirl out.
Yeah, I'd fangirl.
Yeah.
Just completely just like,
He
it's just
seems
no
like
words.
a really awesome guy too. Like we're very lucky to work with a couple artists. I've worked with him in the past, and they have nothing but good things to say about Jim and his work. And obviously, it's just like he's just one of the top guys ever in comics. And again, this to me is like when Gracie Bofuka, who runs the print program manager, we looked at like other ways we could like do things a little differently here, and like what else we could offer. And some we always talk about is like fans and collectors want something that's very reminiscent to the original art that they grew up with, that they read. And so we just talked about like other people have done this. Alex Ross has done homage and after pieces before. It's like, why don't we do this? Let's go through, pick some awesome pieces of art, and then just put like a sideshow twist on it. And
Yeah. That's what I especially like, is that this does pay homage to the original, what the comic book covers, because I think it speaks to the audience that grew up, such as us, that grew up with the comics and the original. But I think it can also kind of lead to the younger audience kind of taking a look at this, because there's now at this point there's been so many different like iterations of X-Men in movies and in comics and things like that. The costumes have changed and things like that. So I think it's really nice for a little something for everyone, because I think it opens for questions like, well, why does Wolverine look like that when they're used to maybe like a Hugh Jackman Wolverine? You know what I mean? So I think that's lovely.
were you a 90s kid? Like, did you watch the 90s X-Men cartoon stuff?
We can't hum the song because I heard that they get a hiya, we get a hiya about that. So, but yeah, that was actually my phone ringtone for the longest time.
That played in the back of my head every time Ian sent an update. He was like, here's an update, guys. I was like,
I do. I listened to it a couple times when I was painting it too.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back. I will watch
Yeah.
it. Put it on one of those.
The only thing that weirds me out, because I always go back to like the 90s cartoon, is like one of my biggest inspirations was how they like the actual 90s Jim Lee Wolverine, the original one was the brown and tan costume, and then for the cartoon they made it the yellow and blue. And that always like weirded me out, because in my head I'm like, we made Wolverine have the wrong costume. I'm like, no, we didn't.
No,
that
you
was
didn't.
the cover.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
so weird.
Yeah.
We should make a variant. Just shove that one in there.
Just change Wolverine. nothing
Yeah.
else.
Hey, look how ideas can spawn. But with that said, since we just kind of walked down the road of nostalgia, do you guys have a favorite mutant?
Wolverine.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he's
Always.
Canadian?
Yeah, actually.
Cheating.
No, yeah.
Can't say that.
That's part of it. He's one of the few Canadian.
Straight up. That was why. Come on.
Yeah. What?
You're like,
There's
oh
nothing wrong
no,
with that.
Puck. You know, Puck was on the X-Men for probably like a day.
Oh my god.
Right? Sasquatch.
Yeah. Is he Canadian?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite X-Men?
Magneto, and I know he's not like he is an X-Men to me. Like he was a villain originally, and the X-Men canon changes depending on like what you watch. I love the X-Men movies because it's kind of like loose canon throughout.
Correct.
Michael Fassbender Magneto is like my favorite thing
Yeah.
ever. But Magneto, just because he's like not a true villain, but like you can really relate to like why he became what he
Yeah.
is. He
Like,
was,
in his eyes, he
Jewish
definitely wouldn't be a
mutant raised
villain.
during World War II in Germany. It's like wow, you can't get like crazier than that of like a guy that's angry at the world.
Yeah.
And, I loved it too. I remember it was like after Astonishing X-Men that Joss Whedon wrote. It was that was a moment where like Cyclops became the true leader of the X-Men. Professor X was out of the picture. I forgot exactly why, but I remember Cyclops stood up and became the true leader. And it was later, I think I forgot if it was still Astonishing X-Men or soon after, but Magneto approached Cyclops, was like, you did what I couldn't do and you united the mutants, so you're now my leader. And that became like my favorite X-Men moment. I remember Adi Granoff did this cover that was a huge inspiration for like our Avengers print we did with him, where it's like them all standing there. It's a vertical piece of the camera looking up. It's like Cyclops, Emma, Kitty Pryde, Colossus. I remember Magneto floating up behind them with Storm, and I was like, that's my favorite X-Men. That's a close second for me to this one. That after this one, like that to me is my next favorite piece of X-Men art. And it was cool that Magneto was able to step down, put his ego aside, and let someone like Cyclops take the torch.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I can talk X-Men all day. Oh, one more question I have for you guys. If you were to have a mutant power, what would yours be? Would it be?
Probably Nightcrawler teleport.
We talked about this at
That's a
Comic-Con,
good
actually.
one.
We
actually
had a
did.
huge discussion about this because I want flight. Because I like the idea of just
Yeah.
like taking off going. Someone's like, dude, you can just teleport. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to teleport into something. It's always like the most, like,
Oh,
like
yeah,
even in the
true.
Dark Phoenix movie, Nightcrawler's like, I can't teleport in that spaceship. I don't know like what's in that spaceship or whatever. It's just like,
That's true. You would have to want to know beforehand.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
you
there's
don't
all
want to be
these.
in a wall or
There's
anything.
yeah, that would suck. Like if you teleport a wall, you're dead. Flight, I mean.
There's some hazards to that
Does it
mutant power.
hurt? Like if it goes wrong, you know, like whatever.
Yeah, like one arm
probably.
sticking out wrong.
Yeah. What if someone's like something's not there, and as you're teleporting, like a person steps, and then you're just like bound to that person. That person, like, what if it's a person that sucks? Then you're stuck with that person who sucks.
Yeah.
I want that.
Ian, with
I
that
think that's how it
said,
works.
do you still want to stay with your Nightcrawler power, or do you want to change it? that-
Yeah, I'll just call ahead and make sure that.
Nice. Okay. Can we just make sure that XYZ doesn't happen in the next 2 seconds? Thanks. We're good. What about you, Dave?
Oh, flight. Yeah, if I could just
Yeah.
like take. I just love like some of my favorite scenes in movies are like when these great aerial shots of flight, and I'm scared of heights, so the idea
Yeah.
like it'd be a huge rush for me, and just the idea like just be like I'm out of here. Just,
Especially
like,
in LA traffic, can you just be like,
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
take me 2 seconds to get home today.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like whenever I see motorcycles cheating going like in between
Mm-hmm.
cars, I'm like, if I could fly, it'd be extra cheating.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You don't even need a little sticker on your car to get in carpooling.
Yeah.
You can just like get up and go and like, hey, see you guys.
It'd be awesome. I could just go get, if I want food, I wouldn't have to DoorDash anything anymore. I just go up, fly over real
Fly
quick,
there.
and come
You
back.
could start your own Dave's DoorDash. Dave's, we'll work on it.
Fly for other people? Hell no.
But to get paid?
Crazy girl? No. Be a lot
Hard
of.
no. Premium charge. It's a show and a delivery
Totally.
service.
The only thing that would suck about being able to fly, people are like, take me somewhere. You know, like when you were the kid in
yeah.
high school that had a van or a truck, you know?
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, you're
You're the
driving
chauffeur.
everyone. Yeah, you're the
just gonna crawl on your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like,
Because
yeah,
you didn't
just,
ask for super strength too. You're just flying.
yeah, yeah.
That's all he wants. Just point A to point B, like no fuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying would be dope.
Yeah.
Fly.
Teleport.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, too.
No.
Now, those both especially work for either cons or like LA traffic.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it, because traffic makes me really anxious. Because originally I was like, oh, I want Gambit's power, but like, what good is that gonna do for me when I'm sitting in 2-hour traffic?
Oh,
Nothing.
you're throwing cards.
You could just
Nothing.
get, yeah.
Yeah.
Charge something in the car and just start throwing it at the car.
Just for entertainment, but then
Yeah.
I stall them out and then I'm stuck anyways.
Yeah.
So I would have to either pick a flight or maybe Magneto and just move the cars. Kind of like a Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, part
You know?
the sea.
I always thought of that, like in traffic, I'm like, if you could just do this. And I remember going to watch Chronicle, and that kid strip does that in the
Yeah.
movie. I'm like, you did what
yeah.
I wanted to do. Crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a huge jerk about, like, actually,
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, hurting people.
yeah, hurting people's not cool.
No,
but
don't do that.
it'd be pretty awesome. Just, like, crunch their wheels a little bit so they're like,
Yeah.
I can't drive anymore.
So it's okay, bye. Just clear the way for me.
Peace.
Yeah. Well,
Road
with that
rage.
said, this print is available for pre-order right now on the Sideshow website. There's a link somewhere in this video, and you will find later. So this is a very limited piece. There is only 300 on paper and 100 on canvas. Don't sleep on it. They come framed. You can get it in black. You can get it white. So it'll go with your decor. And I want to thank our guests for stopping by today. Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Ian, for sharing all the information on the awesome artwork that you worked on.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
Hi, we're back. Oh my God, we're back. Welcome back. This is the applause. Are we not doing applause anymore? Thank you. I will run this show with an iron fist if I have to. I have a lot of really cool stuff to nerd out over. I'm really excited to share this. I have a lot of products here, and they're all from the New Zealand Mint, which is really cool. They have been working for over 40 years and doing a lot of silver and gold collectibles, and it's going to really show with these awesome pieces, and I'm super excited to bring them out here. These are all silver foil collectibles, 35-gram fine silver. That's 999 fine silver. It incorporates both color and engraving. There is an acrylic display holder for each display and a themed outer carrier. So let's take a look. First and foremost, I have this Batman #1 replica of the Batman #1 cover, featuring the Caped Crusader in his first self-titled comic book from 1940. Has anybody here ever seen this comic book in real life?
In real life, no.
Yeah, I saw one at San Diego Comic-Con, and it blew my mind. I was like, can I touch it? And they're like, please leave. But take a look at that detail, and you'll notice, okay, and I'm going to go, you can see that silver foil going in there. For all of you Caped Crusader fans that want to celebrate Batman's 80th birthday, 80 years. He doesn't look a day over a 30-year-old. How old is Batman supposed to be now? What's the age we're giving him? I'm older than Batman now.
35.
We'll go 35. That's good. He can be president.
Yeah.
Batman can be president. Next up, we have Detective Comics #31. Take a look at this beauty right here. Fun thing about this, you guys know what this is the first appearance of, this book? Famous cover, by the way. Very famous cover.
The Batarang.
It's the first appearance of the Batarang. Yeah, we get the Batarang showing up in here. But obviously, I mean, if you look here at the piece, the cover itself is iconic, but look at how it makes the silver with the smoke kind of shine here. You like that? And this famous Bob Kane cover, as we know, Bob Kane is one of the creators of Batman behind Bill Finger. Take a look. It doesn't get more iconic than this cover right here, the Brian Bolland Killing Joke cover, the very quintessential story by Alan Moore and Brian Bolland, Batman the Killing Joke. If you take a look at that, obviously such an iconic cover. And if you look at the back, you even get the Batman and Joker cards. This is a dual-sided piece. So when people come over and they look at this on the wall, you'd be like, I'm not even done. Check this out. And then you, bam, blow their minds with this card piece here. There's another comic book cover that I'd like to show you. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of this one. It's an indie book. We have Action Comics #1. This started it all. This began the whole shebang. The entire existence of superheroes, right here, baby. right here. We have that iconic cover of Superman throwing a car and a man running away. What's he running away from? Is he running away from the car? Is he running away from a man that can lift a car over his head?
Maybe he's gonna throw the car at him.
Maybe Superman is going to throw the car at that guy. Maybe that guy is a criminal.
Now he's like, oh my god, that's my car.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost so much money.
Yeah. Why did he do that? He could have stopped the car.
My wife's gonna be so mad.
Yeah, this car, I don't have insurance. It's the 30s.
So that one I actually did see in person, and I was actually able to hold it.
Super producer Sam coming in to tell me that he has held this in person.
It was in our booth last year.
Yeah.
It was at the Sideshow booth.
Well, in our tent area.
It had made it.
Passed around.
A collector brought in an original Action Comics just so we can all take a look at it.
He was here this year too. He's doing the same thing.
Smart glassy.
Really.
I mean, sure, that's cool. I would be nervous. I saw.
So nervous.
I saw because this holding this. I don't know. It is probably the grailest of grails in comics, and obviously the New Zealand Mint smart to make an Action Comics #1 piece, and probably I'm guessing this might be one of the first things they decided to make here with in this set. I would feel so nervous. Like touching that, like super producer Sam, even touching that comic, I'd be like, I'm not worthy of this. I saw a comic for sale, $1.1 million at the con. It was a graded 9.4 Amazing Fantasy 15. And I was like, how much? I got $60 in my pocket right now. Do you take Venmo? I don't have $1.1 million in my Venmo. I don't know. Also, we have right here the 1982 sequel. Arguably, I'd say most people would say the greatest Star Trek film of all time. I know some of you like humpback whales, but a lot of people, not pointing at anybody in the room, but somebody over here. Big humpback whale. I am shaming you for that choice. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Obviously, we have the Studley Ricardo Montalban arms folded across his beautiful chest piece that he has on there. And take a look at that. So this is full silver, by the way. This piece is silver, and we have the color on it. And you can see just the lights, the studio lights. I'm going to get those in there. That's how reflective these surfaces are, though. Really fantastic piece. You can look at this poster, you can look at this silver piece, you can walk by it and scream, God! You can do that.
And they are in chat.
They are. Are they screaming that in chat? Hey, good job, chat. You guys are the best. Look at that. We got another one. This is a nice little piece right here. Oh! What do we have here? You thought we were going to do Star Trek and we weren't going to bring Star Wars on here? How dare you think that? Of course, we have the iconic poster of the original Star Wars. I said poster, and I was supposed to say poster after the word Star Wars. Jeff, what are you doing right now?
I'm just hanging out.
I was talking to myself in there, but looking at you. I was talking to producer Jeff and saying my name. It gets really confusing. There's like 5 people in this room, and 2 of them are named Jeff. That's a 40% Jeff room right here. Take a look at that Star Wars piece, though. That is really rad. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like, I would probably chase this piece down as of them, and then maybe that Batarang one, the Detective 31. That's rad. This piece right here is just really good. It's hard to even capture under the lights how sort of reflective and kind of shiny and classy this is. This is a classy piece. I'd feel weird about having it. I'd be like, here's the nicest thing I own. And everyone would be like, that is too nice for you. And then somebody would like take it away from me. And I'd be like, you're right to take this away from me. I don't deserve this. We have a couple more pieces coming in. We have these coin notes here. And this is really cool. I actually left these in the box because I wanted to have a hard time trying to take, no. Even the box art itself, I don't know if you can get a look at that. Look at that. That's a beaut right there. Look at all that Batman art. And then inside we have the 80th anniversary of Batman gold note coin. No, I'm just angling it right there. Look at that. Now, if you look, if I move it to the side, you see the shiny? You see how it's shiny? Oh, look at that. That. Whoa! Are you kidding me right now? We have this fantastic piece. It's funny because what I see is the reverse angle, and I am not a weatherman. I am not good at figuring this out right now. But look at this piece. Look at how great that is right there. And the gold is just, it pops. I'm going to be honest, the gold pops. I don't know if you guys noticed about the gold, but it pops. Thank you. And then we have another 80 years of Batman limited edition 5-gram silver coin note. Again, with this really rad interior in the box that you can say, oh, my coin note has had a good view while it was making its trip to my place. Take a look at this right here, this silver coin. Look at that. Look at all the different art and artists in there. Can we pick out who the artists are? Can we see any of these artists? You see a little Jim Lee in there? Anybody see that? No? Are we all, everybody here just quiet? That's cool. That's cool. My team here has just abandoned me while I'm in here. I'm like trying to interact. I can't interact with myself like that. And I can't see the chat.
Are you sure?
Yeah, true. So you're just
So they have left me on an island talking about like, who wants to play the Batman game? And everyone's like, we're not playing your game. But take a look at that. Look at the shine. Look at the way that it pops, I think. You see the ink, and then look at that. You see how the kind of black stays, but the silver kind of shines it out? That's a pretty rad piece. I don't know about you, but that is some pretty cool stuff. Commemorates 80 years of Batman, of course. And these are actually legal tender. These are legal tender on the island nation of Naui. I know. Naui. Or Niue. I gotta be honest, I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm bad at words. It includes an exclusive code to unlock stealth. Now this is actually really cool too. There's an augmented reality Batman game that's only available with purchasing these coins. They're packaged in the theme box, presented in acrylic capsules for display. So it does come in a display holder so you don't immediately get your fingerprints all over it. As I was just, when they told me, I was like, I'm gonna ruin them with my fingerprints. And like, don't worry, Jeff, they come in an acrylic holder. I'm excited about that. I mean, that's worth it right there. So the Batman, we have the 5-gram silver coin note, which was this one that everyone hung me out to dry with. And then we have the 1-gram gold coin note. They're both $9.99 fine, and you can see all of the New Zealand Mint products at side.show/collect New Zealand Mint. It's right there. If you're watching live, you can see it right there, and check that out. And I'll be right back. We're gonna go on a quick little break. Ah, welcome back. Oh my God, see? They clapped. You know why? Iron Fist. Hey, I look like an idiot. Why? Jeff, why do you look so stupid? I'll tell you why. Genetics. But also, we are celebrating Harry Potter's birthday. And I snuck away from the giant party in the Gryffindor common room to bring you some surprises. That's right, I just came here from a party. Can you believe that? Person who wrote my copy? I'm going to take this off now because it's a literal hat on a hat. And we don't need that. I'm a quitter. I quit everything. I quit. That's not an insult when you're actually calling me a quitter. By the way, in the chat, shout out your houses so we know who we are celebrating with. I personally am a Gryffindor to literally everybody's surprise. Nobody believes that I'm a Gryffindor, but I am. First, we have some of our Harry Potter pieces to show off. And right here, I want to point right here to the Harry Potter and Rubeus Hagrid Q-Fig Max. This is a diorama by Quantum Mechanics comprised of over 50 individually cast pieces. And this thing's really big. It's 6 inches high, which for these dioramas is really impressive. 7 inches long, weighs about 1.5 pounds. Look at the Hagrid's goggles. If you take a real good look at those goggles, you'll see that they are actually clear. You can see his eyes through them. These are numbered and limited edition Q-Figs, and they include a signed certificate of authenticity. Right? You get it's authentic. It's signed.
So authentic.
It's authentic. I'll sign it.
It's authentic as heck.
I'll sign it. Make it more authentic. This is the one from the show. Jeff signed this. Another one we have here is the Bellatrix Lestrange Deluxe Twin Pack. Because when you're thinking, who should we be celebrating Harry Potter with? I think Bellatrix Lestrange. That's who I'm thinking. Why not the serial killing psychopath?
Right? Happy birthday.
Who comes with a Dobby? She comes with a Dobby, which that's mean, but okay. We have the Bellatrix Lestrange Deluxe Twin Pack. It's a 6-scale figure by Star Ace Toys. It features her black outfit from Half-Blood Prince and includes a Death Eater mask, 2 different wands, a dagger, a necklace, and Dobby and Dobby socks. So you can recreate your favorite scenes that involve both Dobby and Bellatrix, which,
Yeah, that's fun scene.
that's fun. You can really remember your favorite time that she murdered that heroic house elf. But he does carry his little sock, and it's really great. The Death Eater mask really detailed, by the way. I saw that. We obviously didn't want to cover up the sculpt, the Helena Bonham Carter sculpt of the face. It's really great. The Death Eater mask, really cool looking too. So if you want to just cover it up and make it look even more terrifying, go for it. We also have Grip Hook hanging out over here. The 6-scale figure by Star Ace Toys. You see Grip Hook? He's right here. Remember him? He gets kidnapped. It features Grip Hook from Deathly Hallows Part 2. And he is included...
Big party ever.
It's the best birthday party ever. Here's a goblin that hates Harry Potter and the lady that killed his surrogate father. Exciting. But what does he come with? He comes with some really cool accessories, by the way. He comes with the Sword of Gryffindor and the Hufflepuff Cup, as well as Gringotts Bank Clanker. You remember that?
Yeah.
The clanker.
The bank clanker.
Because of the dragon. Mm-hmm. How you gonna handle those dragons, folks?
With a clanker.
You got the Gringotts Bank Clanker. You gotta have that. So he comes with all of those pieces as well. We also have the Monster Book of Monsters. I was almost like, am I saying this the right thing? This is a prop replica by Insight Collectibles. Take a look at that right there. Look at it. It's covering my face. I want you to take a look. It includes a limited edition of Harry Potter from the Creature Vault. Right here, and that is, do we have one of these? You guys put it at the bottom. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. So they give us, they have this right here. It is a book that details the creatures of Harry Potter, and then you can have the Monster Book of Monsters here, and you take a look at it. It's so fun. You know how to open this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right? You practice. Is that where you just stroke the spine? This book includes detailed pictures and profiles of each creature, which includes rare concept illustrations, which is really fascinating to see sort of where they went to start to where they ended up. There's behind-the-scenes photography, the filmmaking secrets from the Warner Brothers archives. This is from the archive of Warner Brothers. The poster that showcases the concept art of the dragon breeds featured in the film, as well as an interactive Ilops Owl Emporium. I like that. Buffy over there is a real fan of that one. So we got that. That's really exciting. We also have Harry Potter, a pop-up guide to Hogwarts. That is right. It's a book by Inside Editions, signed by Matthew Reinhardt and numbered, limited edition. It features 6 exclusive, never-before-seen pop-ups. You've never seen these pop-ups before.
Have you seen that open?
I have not seen this open. Is it amazing?
Every page opens like you couldn't. You would
Every
take over
page,
that
when
table.
you open it, is massive.
Yeah, it would take over that pool table.
Never before seen.
And everything has little windows and things you can.
Yeah, this is actually a really, really rad piece. And I'm getting Buffy from the side telling me how great it is and that I'm a fool for not having opened this thing up. And I agree. There are spectacular pop-up recreations, of key locations inside and outside of Hogwarts. It opens flat to form pop-up map of the castle and its ground, which include is? Not a word. Not a word. Hold on, Jeff. Take a sip of water.
Maybe in the wizarding world it is. We don't know.
Yeah, is that what they do? They make up stupid words.
Yep.
So an idiot on a live show can make a fool of himself. That's right. It includes. Got it. The Quidditch pitch as well as the Forbidden Forest, and there are mini pop-ups as well, including Marauder's Map and the Flying Ford Anguilla. And then we're gonna slide these over. We have Harry Potter, The Wand Collection, which is a book by Inside Editions, which is a comprehensive look at all the beloved wands of the Harry Potter films. I have to lift it up. I'm being told to lift it up. I'll just put it right here in front of my.
You can open that one up.
I can open the. I've been told by producer Jeff that I can open this one up, and I am going to do that. I want to read the next 40 to 50 minutes of this show. I'm always afraid I'm going to wreck a book. Oh, look at producer Jeff is nervous that I'm going to. This is the worst unboxing video ever.
It's up there.
I look like I've never opened a book, so that fits. It fits that they would have this here. Ooh, it comes in this really cool case here. And we open this up. Oh, wow. So we have this book right here, wand work, right? And then you open it up and you can see sort of a lot of pieces of information. Really, look at that. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I do like this. So be like, you all have fun. I'm gonna go. So we have the evolution of wand work. So you're gonna get a real detailed explanation of sort of the wand aspect of the Harry Potter universe, which is really exciting. And of course, we also have the actual wand collection, visibility of that, and you get to see each individual. Why am I opening only to him? Why am I consistently opening to the mass murderer?
Pretty good.
Both times I've just randomly picked a card and it was like psychopathic serial killer. Enjoy. But we have all of the wands. It'll have the wand and a little sort of biography of it. Yeah, another killer.
All the killers.
Hey, man.
Are you sure you're not Slytherin?
Look, I got to type. All right? Sorry. And we also have, and this is the thing that I'm going to have a blast, my big dumb fingers. What is this? Ridiculous.
Yep.
Is that what I do? Was I at the right camera? Ordero Bookio. Is that magic? No, I was told by super producer Sam that is not magic. And we also have right here that scale model of the Elder, and we have this parchment here, which I am not allowed to open up. I was told exclusively.
In the chats, it's called a wonderful book.
It's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful. I like that. I'm going to try to put this thing back together. Should I even try to put this thing back together, or should I wait until we move on? I think so. Huh? I have you guys for that. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm the talent. No, as a gift to you to celebrate Mr. Porter's birthday, all of the above collections and others are actually 10% off until tomorrow. How exciting is that? That's right. Use the code HPBDay19. It's right there. It's right there. Okay, we got that. Super Producer Sam has thrown that link up, and it will take you right to all these items that are for sale with the code handily listed at the bottom of the page. As a bonus gift, by the way, the pop-up guide, the wand collection, and the monster book all ship for free within the U.S. for a limited time. And visit side.show/HPBday19 to see all of these sale items. And now we have a couple more items I'm really excited to break out here. Let's talk some girl power, huh? You guys ready for that? All right, we have Ginny Weasley's 6-scale figure by Star Ace Toys, featured in her school uniform. This is really exciting. She brings her broomstick, she got her wand, a school bag, and assorted textbooks, right? And they're not the textbooks that we had. They're not sitting there bringing home word wealth and math and calc. They might be. Wouldn't that be funny if she just?
A lot of math there.
Wouldn't it be funny if they just came back with like Muggle textbooks? If she's just like, American history? Well, why do I even need this? I don't even live there. But look at the great sculpt on that piece. They really, really captured the actors' look and vibe. I like that very much. Ginny Weasley knocking it out of the park. The future Ginny Weasley Potter, as we are going to see there. And she just really knocks it out of the park. I am really stoked to be able to bring a piece of her here. And then on the opposite, not the opposite, but on the other side of that spectrum, we have the Luna Lovegood 6-scale figure, and she is a blast of a character. She is so much fun. 6-scale figure by Star Ace Toys, featured in her school uniform as well, which includes her Ravenclaw robe. She's a Ravenclaw. How many of you are Ravenclaws in the chat? Did we get any Ravenclaws in the chat?
We got a few.
A couple of Ravenclaws. And a knitted sweater as well. And this includes, because she's such a fun and wacky character, her dirigible plum earrings, the butterbeer cork necklace, polyjuice potion bottle, a pair of Spectre specs that we have put on her, her wand, and an issue of Quibbler, which she is also holding. Are you guys? Let's sound off. Are we more of a Ginny or a Luna? What are we?
Luna. Yep.
Everybody at Sideshow here is a Luna.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have a voice.
Oh, well, that's awkward.
We don't allow him to have a voice. That's what it really comes down to.
That makes some dead air now.
He's not allowed to talk.
People are like, why is he stalling right now? I'm hearing a very awkward conversation back here. You're a Ginny fan. That's fair. That's fair. Well, it's finally someone spoke up for Ginny Weasley, because everyone else here is Luna, because everybody here at Sideshow is a little insane. I'm gonna say that, and I'm sorry if that offends you, but I don't care. Sorry, bro. Hey, follow the link below to the landing page of all of our Harry Potter collectibles, including, but not limited to, all the pieces that we have here. That's side.show/happybirthday. And wait, what's that? I've got breaking news. The Ministry of Magic has just released information important to wizards and muggles alike. Dateline 1945. Someone in our chat will actually be receiving a Harry and Hagrid diorama. Yay, the cute big diorama. Buffy over there is randomly choosing our winner from the house shoutouts in the chat. That's how I told you to I said, put your house in the chat. Something good could happen, and wouldn't you know it, something good has happened. You can also win a pop-up guide by following the link below, side.show/Hogwarts pop-up. Should be showing anytime. There it is. Yes, there it is. Okay, good. You go to our Gleam contest. There are numerous ways to enter, but referring friends gives you 300 entries per friend. Invite all of your Muggle and Wizard friends, and house elves are welcome too. Yay! Okay, thank you. I was like, wow. Okay, way to be inclusive, everybody.
I have the random winner from the chat.
You already have the random winner from the chat. We have a winner, Buffy. Who is that winner?
Eric Ton. Ton.
Eric Tone. Or Ton. Eric! Congratulations, Eric. You win the Harry and Hagrid cute fig mini diorama. I'm excited for that. Good for. What? What house are they? Eric.
Slytherin.
He's a Slytherin. Oh no.
Slytherin.
Wow. Oh wow. God, I'm surrounded by a bunch of Slytherins here. Great.
Right, so.
So congrats. Email social@sideshow.com and be sure to include your name, phone number, shipping address, and the prize that you won so we can actually get that to you, which is this adorable piece right here. You see that? Yeah, that's some camera work. Let's get in there. Let's do it right here. You see that? You won that. You can also get it if you click the side.show/happy birthday piece, all right? And guess what, everybody?
What?
Guess what?
What?
Okay, you guys got to get with it a little bit.
We're ready.
Hey guys, guess what?
What?
That's it for today. Oh, I'm sorry everybody, but it's time to go. I start putting on a cardigan and changing my, I start Mr. Rogersing it up.
Taking off the cardigan?
Well, he puts it back on when he's leaving, right? Or no, did he show up?
From the cardigan to the jacket.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't like him. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Not a fan.
Never was a fan. Never was a fan. I don't like him. I prefer.
Kind of a jerk.
Yeah, he seems a little uppity. I don't know. I love Mr. Rogers. Let's get Sideshow to make a Mr. Rogers 6-scale piece. I'm just saying. I probably wasn't allowed to say that. That's fine. Thanks to our guests, Kat Sapene, Ian MacDonald, and Dave Igo, as well as Wendy Lee. You've been an awesome audience. Oh my God, clap for yourselves, everyone. Thank you again. You didn't have to clap for them, but I appreciate that you did. Thank you again for joining us here today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And we'll be back next week with Sideshow and Tell and Sideshow Live. And don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye. I'm Jeff May. Bye.